Hey, welcome back to my channel, guys. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I made my son's dresser. So my wife and I were expecting a baby at the end of this month. And if you want to know how that was made, this is not the channel for that. Oh man, I need to get a haircut. So anyways, the dresser that my son currently has is going to be passed down to the new baby. Hence the reason why I have to make him a new dresser. I started by breaking down a 3/4 inch sheet of Baltic birch plywood into manageable sizes that I can cut to final size on the table saw. I then angled my blade to 45 degrees and cut the sides and top so that I get a mitered joint. Cutting this joint like this on the table saw was pretty risky. I wouldn't advise doing it this way. I'll be making a sled for the next time I need to make a cut like this. I use dominoes to help with keeping the miters aligned while clamping it. And if you don't own a Festool domino yet, you don't really know what you're missing. It is such a handy tool. That's what my wife says about me anyways. I will not be putting a back on this dresser. Instead, to help keep it square, I made these 90-degree corner braces and I attached them in each corner of the back. I then added a brace at the bottom to keep it from being all floppy. Then I flipped it up and installed the toe kick and a center brace to help keep it straight. Next, I installed all the drawer dividers. I used some blocks to help make sure all the spacing will be the same. After all that was done, I applied some iron-on edge banding to all the exposed plywood edges. This will allow for it to be painted up nice. To trim the edge banding, I used an 1/8 inch roundover bit in my router. It did two things. It trimmed the edge banding flush and it added a roundover all at the same time. Two birds with one stone, they say. Then I finessed all the edges with some sandpaper. Now that the carcass was all done, I moved on to building the drawers. I built the drawers from 1/2 inch Baltic birch plywood, and all of these drawers are the same size, so it made it easy to bash them all out. I cut rabbets into the side pieces. This allows for more glue surface than a butt joint, which then equals to a much stronger drawer. And for the bottom, I am using 1/4 inch Baltic birch plywood. Before assembling all the drawers, I went ahead and sanded all the inside pieces. It is much easier to do this now than later. Oh, and my daughter, she loves to help when she can. She says when she gets older, she wants to be a woodworker. To assemble the drawers, I just used glue and 18 gauge brad nails. To attach the bottom, I just simply glued and brad nailed it on. This will be plenty strong. I built all my drawers in my shop this way and they are holding up just fine. Never underestimate the power of wood glue. Next, I attached all the drawer slides. I like to lay the dresser on its side to do this. It's much easier this way. I used a combination square to ensure the slides are all installed straight. And they all fit perfect. If you take your time and make sure your slides are installed correct, it saves a lot of time adjusting them after the fact. Now this is the part where you guys are all going to yell at me. I am going to cut up all this nice live edge maple slabs to make the drawer fronts. Now if you think about it, all wood really starts out as live edge, so that kind of makes you guys all guilty of this as well. I cut all the fronts in half so that I can flip the end grain to hopefully avoid the fronts from cupping in the future. I then planed and jointed all the pieces and squared them up over on the table saw. And I once again used the Festool domino to aid in keeping everything aligned during the glue up. Once the glue dried, I then put it through my drum sander to clean it all up. Then I cut the drawer fronts down to final length on my miter saw. I used a stop block to ensure they were all the same length. Now it was time to make the cutout for the handles. I have a template that I made for a past project, and I used it to trace out where the handle will go, and then I cut out the majority of it with my jigsaw, and I made sure that I stayed just shy of my line. I then clamped the template back on and used a flush trim bit to router out the rest to make a perfect handle. After that, I added an 1/8 inch round over, and I don't usually like doing a big round over on my projects. I find a big round over tends to make it look like a high school woodworking project. Next, I laid out all the drawer fronts and attached them all. Now you get a glimpse of what this will look like. Now for the final step. I took it all apart and sprayed the carcass white, and I stained the drawer fronts using Minwax mahogany gel stain. After letting the drawer fronts dry for 4 days while I was camping with the family, I then sprayed on 3 coats of water-based Varathane. And at last I was able to bring it into its final resting place, or at least until my son decides to rearrange his room someday. I couldn't be more happy with this project. It even turned out better than I was expecting it to. And that is it for this project. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it educational and entertaining. And if you're new to my channel, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you never miss when I upload a new video. And like always, we'll see you in the next one.